train engines will be able to easily deliver resources and fuel growth across the planet. Succeed, and our colony will be the envy of the entire galaxy. Fail, and, well,
Very
you don't need to
loud.
worry about the consequences right
Oh,
now.
yeah. I'm down here. Looks
I
very
know
good.
you might miss Earth, but don't worry. When you've seen what's possible here, you'll never want to leave.
So it's possible. You never want to leave.
Good luck, Administrator. Everyone is counting on you.
Oh, you've got a lot of text going on there.
Wow, a lot of text. Speed up the text.
Sounds like I'm being attacked by
A typewriter.
typewriter. Yeah, I was trying to think of something that was clicky.
No, well, we are here. We're here. We've come to play. We're playing a game called Railgrade in the background today. What we are doing is we are. Okay. What we are here is discussing a certain episode. To begin discussing Doctor Who. The show we have talked about previously. We talked about it prior to the actual sixth episode coming out. And we got
We're all big fans.
and it's, we have differing opinions on the new series.
It's understandable, I guess,
If we all had the same
in
opinion,
some
we
aspects.
heard all the same.
Oh yes, very much so. I think in general it's been very good.
Okay.
They're having to deal with a lot. It's the first series on Disney Plus, which means it has to kind of be a reboot as well as a continuation. And they're not doing it in an easy way like they did with Russell T Davies's original startup back in the early 2000s, the Noughts era of Doctor Who. In which it was basically a semi-hard reboot. For a long time, they didn't really mention much from the previous Doctor Who series. It was kind of, this is the story going forward, and then later on, they added bits more from previous Doctor Who to tell you actually this isn't just something that's starting now. There's a couple of decades worth of stuff to watch. With this series, they've tried to do the same, but because of how so much of it is connected to the big anniversary episodes we've had, it's made the waters a little bit more muddier as to where people are going to jump off from on this. But I think a lot of the complaints that I'm sort of going to be, that I've taken sort of more seriously and thought, yeah, you've got a point, is really down to how much time you've been getting really between the Doctor and the companion. This season, for many reasons, you've had a lot less time with the Doctor, which is unfortunate, being their first series as the Doctor. That's down to filming problems with the other show that they were on before the Doctor Who, and it's why you've so it's why there was a lot of Doctorless parts and a lot of Ruby-led episodes, or at least partially. A complaint about the fact that there was a whole episode without the Doctor is completely ridiculous in my opinion in the new series, because we've had that since pretty much the beginning. There wasn't a Doctorless episode in the first Christopher Eccleston series, if I remember correctly, but there was literally from the next Doctor onwards.
Yeah. And to be fair, Doctor's episodes, in my opinion, are some of the really good ones, because it gives the person that usually in the show is getting they're a background character all the time, getting a chance to shine. But I will agree there was unfortunately, because of filming commitments in this at the same time as this, in the time of the current season, we did have a lot less of the Doctor.
Yeah.
But we also know why we had a lot less of them.
Yeah, well, it was a proper reason. It's like I say, it's just a shame that it's their first season as a Doctor, and this has happened, especially in the way that it's going out globally. Or to a bigger audience at least. But yeah, in general, I think it's been very good. I think we've got ourselves quite a good Doctor, and pretty much a good companion as well.
I would tend to agree. We have got a really good companion in regards to this one, because it is honestly a really good season.
Weirdly, one of the things that I have noticed is a couple of the story points are taken from older episodes. Tom Baker had an episode where, well, because of the way they were made back then, it wasn't.
We're going to originally talk about this today.
Sure, we have completely. We're more generally talking about Doctor Who, I guess, at the moment. But yes, we do have a plan for this evening.
We're going to discuss a certain episode, the Star Beast. With all the glorious MeepKind that are absolutely lovely and adorable creatures, and totally harmless.
Sort of, yeah. So this is a fantastic episode, and at the so for people that will know who David Tennant is and why this is a very interesting start of the 60th anniversary episodes. It was the 60th anniversary episodes, wasn't it? Yeah. They've had so many anniversary episodes recently. It's immense. So yeah. And he's back. He was a previous Doctor many years ago, 13 years ago, I think it was. And he has come back to reprise the role, but in a weird way. And this is the beginning of his 3 specials that will lead into the newest season. This is quite an interesting episode because it's written by 2 comic book alums, Dave Gibbons and Pat Mills. Very good, not very good. Some of the best comic book writers in the world, and they're British. They're fantastic. Definitely look them up. And but they actually wrote for Doctor Who magazine, and these characters actually appeared in the Doctor Who comics in Doctor Who magazines, written by these guys. So it has its origins in some really cool old stuff. So yeah, we have the beginning of this episode. Really is this is for the fans, the old fans, in particular fans of One Doctor and his and one of his companions, being Donna Noble, played by the fantastic Catherine Tate. Without going too much into their history, after their last encounter, there is a reason why these two cannot meet again. And for some reason, fate is conspiring for them to meet again. And as he there's another weird connection as he's trying to get away from the fact that they're about to meet up again. He calls out the name of a previous companion of his.
Oh yes.
Another previous companion.
Yes. She calls out the name of Rose.
Once again, if you're an old fan of Doctor Who, you'll know who Rose is. If you're not, when the show was first rebooted back in the early 2000s, because this show actually started in the 60s, The first companion to the first new Doctor after quite a long time was played by Billie Piper and was called Rose Tyler.
Yep.
And she's actually quite a very popular one of the companions, not just in the modern Doctor Who, but in the whole of Doctor Who. She became a very, very popular part of the lore and the canon of the show. And people do like her. Not everyone.
Not everyone.
But,
I'm not a fan of Rose, but that's me.
Yeah, she's not Sarah Jane, but she's pretty good. So as this episode goes on, we have the Doctor coming back, and whilst in this very awkward conversation with an ex-companion and their daughter.
The best part about that, you're forgetting the whole best part about that awkward conversation is, while having this lovely awkward conversation with, not realising that he's talking to Donna because Donna has boxes in her face, in her hands.
True, I do wide brush. You can give details.
As carrying boxes, and she's having a chat, and he's like, "Yeah, what time is it? It's Christmas. Oh, I love Christmas. It's just all having a nice general chin wag." And he's like, "Oh, let me help you with those," and then takes the box off and realizes it's Donna and goes, "Nope, have them back."
Yeah, she's not very happy about it. Oi, you! Yeah, I've done a noble temple. Sorry.
Did I miss something again? Was the ending joke of Donna's like run on the show?
Yeah, she was always the one that missed the thing, and then it became part of. Well, it actually ended up being part of how she played safe. But yeah, it was funny. And then, of course, when the boxes drop, because inevitably they're going to drop, an alien spaceship starts to crash land, and of course, Donna misses it all.
I did love that little that was a nice, funny, tongue-in-cheek reference, though, to the fact to the original, where the fact that Donna just misses it.
Yeah, aliens over London. I heard. I completely fell asleep. What am I like? So yes, so this happens, and the Doctor immediately decides he has to go and find out what's going on.
Yep, gets in a
and
taxi.
decides to gets in a taxi to take him across town, and it's Donna's husband.
Yep, but he immediately recognises as well. It's like, what the hell? Everything's just conspiring to put them together.
Yeah, and that's when he finally gets the lowdown of what's happened since he last saw her, and why they're not multimillionaires with the winning lottery ticket that the Doctor gave them.
Oh, that part, I really love the explanation for that. Because it comes back up later in the episode, and
it does come back up. Yeah. But yeah, everyone's quite miffed that Donna gave away all their multi-millions in their lottery win, and that all she did was just buy the house, and now they all still have to work, pay the bills and stuff on the house, and no one can really work out why she gave the money away.
No one can work it out until later in the episode. And I love the fact that when we work out why, it's just like it's the most Donna Noble response ever.
It really is. Yeah, so Donna and Rose go home, and
he gets the
the Doctor goes to look for something.
Where it is, we encounter I completely forget her character name.
Oh, the woman in the wheelchair. I do not know the unit captain. She was. This is a character that is so well needed that they replaced her with a kid on a Segway.
I know, right?
That's later on down the line. But yeah, so the Doctor gets to the
Gets the spaceship.
spaceship. Meets unit that's there, and there is a mild discussion over who he actually is at this point in time. So unit is a British-based but globally reactive secret organisation that sort of helps against alien and strange invasions, and usually helps the Doctor along the way, or the Doctor helps them in some form ever since the beginning. Or not the beginning, but quite early on, the third Doctor era, second Doctor era actually. And she mentions that, well, are you the Doctor from previously travelling forward in time, or what? Because our reports say that you've changed your face since the last time this face was on Earth. And he was like, no, this is a new version of the old face, and he's not quite sure why.
Not quite sure why I chose this face. And I quite enjoyed the fact that even the show calls out the fact that he's not sure why he chose that face. Why did I choose this face?
Which is an interesting thing. That's something that has started to become more. So, sort of choosing features, technically is a thing. There is a whole point where one of the Time Lords called.
Well, it's been a thing technically since the Second Doctor. Because remember, he didn't choose his face, but the Time Lords did. They chose his face when he was regenerating.
Yes, no. So what I mean, Romana, the actual actress played Romana originally. She left, and they had to get someone else. Well, they had because she was a Time Lord. It was fantastic. They could just use a regeneration. Now, there is a couple of lines in this that I won't go over because they are now controversial. But there is one mention of where she walks out of the room, and the Doctor says, "Oh, you've had a change," and she was like, "Yeah, I got basically got a bit bored of this face, the old face, and thought I'd have a new one. Have you not thought about changing yours?" And he says, "No, I quite like this one." Because it does turn out they, at this point in time, they were limited to 13 changes. Well, and this was the thing that no one ever really kind of knew. Is it 13 changes that they could do whenever they wanted, or is it only 13 changes via death? Because they're full regenerations, but we never really cared to find out. But yes, no, they can. They at that point they could change the looks for vanity reasons, but that did stop becoming a thing. Somewhere along the line. But yeah, it does give you an element of choice to their things. But in modern times, it has changed again because after Matt Smith's Doctor, the Doctor that came along also found out he chose his face for a reason.
Why his face?
Yeah. So yes, there is an element of.
Episodes, to be honest.
Yes.
It's one of my favourite episodes of him, of when he's straight up just going, "Why did I choose this face? Why this one?" He's trying to figure it out the whole episode, and then he finally realises, hold him to the mark. I'm the Doctor, and I save people.
Yeah, he is. That's a very good episode. Yeah, so isn't it? So we've got to try and work out at some point why it was this one that was chosen. But he then
he's having a good chat with the person. He's like pointing out that the ship looked like it landed there, looked like a textbook crash until it stopped and then set itself down.
Yeah, which is very, very suspicious. But what's even more suspicious is that it doesn't seem to have had a pilot. In fact, there seems to be a shuttle missing.
Yes, there's an escape pod missing from it. We then cut to Rose, played by the wonderful Yasmin Finney, amazing woman. Gonna get anyone who's a cunt watches this is gonna make their usual cunty jokes, but you know that's I have no love for you people, but that's that's not controversial. That's just my opinion on people that are like that. You know what the jokes I'm on about, don't you, Jax?
I can make a vague reference, but I don't really care. No, absolutely fantastic. Played very well. Story around the character as well. Very good. To some point, I think we've had this conversation. I think her storyline has been done better in other episodes. But still, she does come back later on. Hopefully we're going to see her a bit more. Hopefully we're going to see a bit more of Unit in the next couple of seasons. Because I would like to see some more.
Because, well, to be fair, Russell got rid of Unit. Got rid of Unit a little bit. Put them in a bit more background role where they only showed up like occasionally.
Yeah.
And then what was it?
Well, weird enough, Unit during the Matt Smith era sort of took a sideline to the Deacons, who actually reappeared in Boomtown. Because if you remember, every time a group of army soldiers, armored people that were organised came in during those seasons, they were all part of the Anglican army.
No, the Anglican Marines.
Yeah, so which is weird that they do make a comeback in the most recent season we got.
In Moffat's episode.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's in Moffat's episode, which is like Moffat will not let them go. And I don't blame him because.
That was one of the things of Moffat's eras that the story points that I quite liked actually. Was the evolution of the Anglican Church.
Well, it also, what was it? Well, I love the. What was it 44th something century? The church got an army. The church isn't an army. Pointing out, yeah, it is.
51st century. That is also one of a lot of Moffat's keys are in these episodes, and they were all used in Boomtown. Whenever a weapons manufacturer is used in one of his episodes, it is the Vandercar, whatever they were called in this. It's always them. Vanguard, yeah. It's always them. If something comes from the future in one of his episodes, it's the 51st century. There is a lot of his signatures in the episode, in his episodes. Just having Boomtown used every single one of them.
They've come from the we met the Villain Guard people. Like the Villain Guard, we got a reference to the Villain Guard one when Captain Jack first appeared. Yeah, so his gun is from the Villain Guard, and he's like, yeah. So then someone destroyed it and turned it into into a banana grove.
Banana farm. Yeah, banana farm.
Bananas are good.
And he pulls a banana. We actually then see it a couple more times. So Rusty,
we don't see it, we hear it about it a couple of times. That's the thing. That's his.
You know Rusty, the Dalek.
Yeah.
It's actually being held in their advanced weapons facility. That is the place that he goes to get it is the place where Jack's gun would have been made. Look it up. We've actually visited there twice during that era. One before it was destroyed and one after. But yes, so anyway, so while the Doctor is now travelling to go and find where the escape pod might be, Donna Noble's daughter, I can't remember how she gets involved in this. Though she throws some trash out into the bins out front, and
I will say comment. There is a scene that is quite well done before this. that when we see Donna
Oh,
and
yes.
her daughter walking home, that alludes to what her character's identity and that's very well done if you know
Yes.
them.
So, yes.
Shouting the dead,
I mean,
dead naming her, basically.
yeah, they're dead naming her old life. Yes, I did forget to mention that, but the actual thing I kind of one thing I kind of liked out of all of this was the conversation between Donna and her mother. With the, it's the grandmother of the child going, I really don't know if what I'm saying is correct or whatever. What am I meant to do? And Donna just going, just be normal.
Yeah.
And there's that point as well where Donna's going, like, I don't even know if I'm honest. These things are all new to all of us. But just
Oh yeah.
just ride with it, see what happens. It seems to be the best way to go. In the words of Bill and Ted, be good to each other.
Be excellent to one another.
But yeah,
Everything in life. It's the tenet of the show. Love is always wise and hate is always foolish. That's part of the promise that that the Doctor made that gives them their name.
well, except for when he does it,
Oh yeah.
and all of a sudden everything's fine.
Yeah, but you don't remember every time he does it, he seems to always hurt himself. So he does prove his own point whenever he does it.
Yeah. But but like when he does it, it's usually at a scale of a massive genocide.
Yeah.
We'll come to that another day. So Rose goes out to throw out some trash in the trash cans, and the local kid on a bike just pops out and says, "Oh, I found an alien." Or is it like an egg or something? He's found something.
They've not found an alien. They found a what was it? They found a. Come and see this cool thing that's crashed, basically.
Yeah, it was something like that. Yeah, and
we found the thing that's crashed.
And it's empty. But on the way back home, they find a cute, fluffy little thing.
It's a cute, fluffy little thing.
Called the Meep. I am the Meep.
The Meep.
And the Meep is the Meep.
I still found it hilarious. Someone took offence to the bit with asking it what what are you? It's like it's the same sort of joke that Star Wars makes and that Star Wars has made and Respawn and all stuff has made. It's like we're dealing with weird aliens that look weird. I have no idea if that's a guy or a girl or a whatever, because that's it. They're not human. They're a completely different species. We have no idea what the fuck they do. They are. It's like it's the whole thing of Now I'm just doing a little thing called making the train track.
That just sounds bad. So they meet up with the Meep, and after a rather quick discussion, Rose decides to help the Meep and hide them in her shed full of stuffed toys she's selling to a woman in Dubai. Very weird story plot point. I'm going to wonder if we find out at some point. Although, say at some point, this is a spoiler for other shit. I was wondering if we were going to find out that actress was the person from would be another Susan Twist character, but no, just nothing.
I have a feeling that it's just a throwaway line, basically, to explain why she makes the things.
Yeah, but she could just be selling them on Dagenham Market at that case.
I think she's also selling that there's one in Dubai that is probably the customer that she gets the most money off, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, I
Probably
suppose.
the-
Yeah, I mean, very true.
That's probably the customer that earns her the most money. That's why Donna knows that customer. She's the one that probably pays Rose the most.
Yeah, you're very right. You're very, very right.
Whereas most other customers probably just like buy one or two things off her every so often.
Yeah. But yeah, so whilst hiding in there, that's when her mum comes in to have a go at her about something. I can't remember what it was. Not doing the chores.
I think that's
Um,
doing the chores.
Then
That's
that's
what the bin
when,
about.
yeah, and that's when all of a sudden Donna notices a really, really good-looking one of her daughter's not so good-looking toys.
I do love that
Even the
when we look
eyes.
at those toys, we as the audience can see what these toys are. We know what they are because, like, one of them is straight up is a Dalek outside of its suit.
Yeah.
There's one that's like some weird. There's one that's an adipose. Like they're all callbacks to like.
Very much so. I quite like the fact that the way that they were done and stylized, though. When I first saw it, I was like, "Isn't that a funny Easter egg?"
Yeah. That's what it feels like. They're all funny little Easter eggs to past episodes and stuff.
Yeah, 100%. And that's us. I mean, at that point in time, if you're an old viewer, that's all you should have thought. If you're a new viewer, that's all you should have thought. You shouldn't even thought that. You should have thought they would look like weird little gonks, to be honest.
Oh yeah. Weird little
But-
balls.
So this is where we get the exposition about the woman from Dubai. But then Donna notices one's really, really, really good.
Really
Like,
good.
compared to all the others good.
Get loads from that woman in Dubai for this one.
Yeah.
The one
You
that-
even got the eyes right.
Yeah. And then pokes it.
In the eye. So Meep gets upset and starts running around. Donna gets incredibly upset and starts running around.
Yeah.
All culminating in them arriving back in the house, in the kitchen of the house. Now, this to me felt like some of the funniest over-the-top slapstick comedy from British old, because you have the mum, Donna,
Oh yeah.
who is freaking out over seeing an alien. You've got Rose, Donna's daughter, who's trying to calm the situation down to say it's a normal alien, if there is such a thing. And then you have
One, and
the
Donna's like,
grandmother, Jackie.
who's trying to. No, you don't see anything. You don't know. There's no
Oh,
aliens.
Jackie knows the whole story and knows if Donna finds out about the Doctor again and aliens, he could
might.
die.
She might die as far as she knows.
So,
And
at this point, Jackie's saying literally the opposite to everyone else. Look, there's an alien. No, there's not an alien. I think they are. Even at one point, I believe, if I remember it correctly, kicks the thing away and says there's nothing there. And that's when there's a knock at the door. And a voice.
Yeah.
It's Doctor.
Well, there's a knock at the door.
Hello.
Hello. And she just goes, you! And just shuts the door in his face.
Charges after him. Charges after the door and then slams the door in his face.
Yeah.
And this
And then
hilarity
him
ensues
having
from
to
it.
open himself, having to use the screwdriver to open the door. Because if he doesn't, but yeah, him having to screwdriver the door open. what is it?
And
Then having to go speaking to the Meep.
The Meep.
well, no. Before he starts speaking to the Meep, you've got the whole thing where now Jackie is literally trying to hide both a 6 foot tall Scotsman and a 3 foot tall fluffing that walk in 2 different directions away from her daughter, which is actually quite funny.
Oh yeah, so, no, you don't. It's that funny man again. No, there's no man. You don't see him. It's like, you don't see him. There's no man there. It's like, no. It's just like, I love the slapstick humor of it. It's just, there's no man there, and you're like, there clearly is. It's just like, no man there. Of her trying to basically deny that he's there.
There is nothing behind the curtain.
But yeah, we get that little funny joke scene. We get that little bit. Then we get we don't. I do like that at this point. Donna still doesn't know. She's still confused by everything, but confused by everything. Then it's the doctor's speaking to the Meep, having this nice chat where the Meep's going, "I'm just." They're what are they called? What are the other aliens called? I forget the name. Because then we get the house gets.
I can't remember. They were Pat Mills creations, and I can't remember.
Yeah, we get the other aliens.
So these are bug type aliens.
That show up and they
More like grasshoppers. If you are a fan of Rick and Morty, you will kind of recognise the characters slightly as the bug creatures from that. Very similar design. But these were actually created many, many decades ago for the comic book. Both the Meep and I can't remember now. It's really annoying. I can't remember the name. I should look them up, but I can't be asked. They will say the name soon enough again at some point. And attack ensues.
They attack. Then the door goes another knock at the door, and there's then soldiers that have. Oh yeah, we forgot. We do with this while this is going on. We kept before the other aliens arrive. You have the Meep telling its story, and it cuts back to Susie. Her name was Susie.
Susie. Maybe. Oh, so let's at least do what the story the Meep has told us.
It's telling us, that no, it's because we cut back to that in between it, and it's the.
Oh, yeah, we do.
We cut back to that because it's important as part of it. We cut back to that back to the ship. The unit soldiers are investigating the ship and everything. They're investigating, and then they open this chamber on the ship, basically, and they get infected by this weird sort of energy.
Yeah. But basically, the Meep tells the story of how its fur was so soft and so lovely. It was hunted to extinction for fashion.
Oh yeah, for fashion.
And I'm the last Meep.
Yeah. Oh my God, you're a fashion victim. That's cruel.
Worst joke of the series ever.
Hey, it's not a joke. It is a fashion victim. I mean, God, white fur at Christmas. Don't you know it's red fur?
I mean, big enough hammer. But
oh yeah, fair enough. But we then have what is it?
The escape.
The escape. There. Well, we then have as these unit soldiers now begin fighting the Wrath. They're called the Wrath. That was it.
The Wrath. Right. Yeah.
The Wrath. And basically, they both try and find the Meep. But as they're all fighting, the Doctor uses the sonic screwdriver in a way that we've never seen before in any to create an energy shield.
Yeah, that was that really upset the purists.
It did. It upset a lot of purists of that. So what? The screwdriver have been using this way before? What the fuck you doing this for? This isn't Doctor Who. What? Sorry.
Yeah,
I'm old and it
I
should stay
mean-
the same as it's been since it was the 60s. It shouldn't change with the times. Like, not the fact that it's changed with the times throughout its entire fucking lifestyle. And
one of the reasons at one point after its creation that it was actually taken away is because the head of the BBC at the time found it really annoying that it was their MacGuffin that fixed every problem.
yes,
So it was actually that for many years it was taken from, not many years, many seasons it was taken away from the Doctor at the time. I can't remember who it was.
it was
but-
I believe Pertwee was the first one that had it. I believe, if I remember correctly, because Pertwee is the one that makes it because he's stuck on Earth and has nothing to do. So he makes
Yeah.
it. Tom had it. Peter Davison had it. I believe it's when we get to Colin, or it's Colin.
Might be
or,
Colin Baker.
It's Colin or
I know.
Sylvester, where it basically gets broken for a bit and then comes back for one of them. I think
Yeah,
it's Colin. Sylvester has it in Remembrance of the Daleks, which is which is like not. It's like one of his second season episodes, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. But yeah, so he and it has started to become that again in a weird way, the MacGuffin that fixed everything. But I mean, that's kind of
It's
off the
sci-fi.
technology in Star Trek.
Yeah, it's sci-fi,
Yeah.
and that's kind of the point of science fiction, that technology will solve most of our problems, or also cause half of them. But let's not lie about that.
Well, my only issue is with stuff like that. Weird enough, it's not that. It's when they pull something weird out of their arse that we've seen no evolution to before. So weird enough with the sonic screwdrivers doing things like that we shouldn't have seen before. There is kind of, in a weird way, and things that have happened that would sort of you could see some sort of allowance to that. One would be at one point he did copy the specs from Captain Jack's square gun that removed and put back matter.
Yeah.
And then at one point there was 3 doctors with over 1,000 years in difference in time. One started to work on the ability to resonate through wood, and then they left it running through the
They put it back in the
screwdriver
software
through all that
from the
time.
beginning, basically.
So it has learned how to remove and add matter, and it has also learned how to resonate. So why wouldn't it be able to resonate a
Force field, eventually.
matter shield?
A shield, which,
Yeah, so
even in the
that's the
episode,
kind
you
of
see
stuff-
the shield is not very good. It's kind of shit. Because it
Yeah,
it
it
lasts for as long as he needs it to last. That's basically all it does. It's the sci-fi trope of the. It's also
It's the MacGuffin. It's the
of that
MacGuffin.
episode. We get it used. It creates a shield that he creates 2 different side shields. One that blocks the Wrath from shooting them, and one that blocks the soldiers from shooting them. And then, as he notices, as they're escaping, the Doctor's starting to notices that the Wraths, as the Wrath and the soldiers fight, as the soldiers get hit, they're going down in one shot. He's noticing, and then, as they are using the gun to make a hole, using the screwdriver to basically create a hole in each, like the square gun did, basically in each.
Yep.
In each attic, because that's where they run up to escape, so to go to the.
Oh no, they were resonating. In that case, they were resonating the concrete.
Yeah.
With sound.
Concrete. The funny thing is I love the fact that he gives it to Donna. Automatically, she knows what to do without realizing, how the hell do I know what to do with this thing? Just like,
Yeah.
he instinctively
The subconscious.
gives it to her, and it's like, oh, it's that thing of them. Even though he knows he's trying to avoid like anything about it, like letting her know anything, he subconsciously immediately gives it her without realizing it, because it's like they immediately start falling back into that role of like best friends.
Yeah, I mean, yes. It's that weird thing of, it's almost like having your best friend back, but they've got amnesia.
Yeah.
But saying the subconscious is still doing the things that they would do before. Yeah, all that stuff was great, and there's loads of little bits like that that then. Once again, we've talked already about a cop thing later on when it comes to the lottery. There's a lot of realizations there, which is like, there is so much I do that I don't know why I do it. I just had these flashes of things, and
Brilliant when
it's
they
because of
actually
this
tell
past life I've forgotten.
you. Yeah.
But yeah,
I love
they
that
make
bit.
their way up. But there's also a couple of things that the Doctor's starting to sort of twig onto. Like you say, about how the soldiers are falling, but also how the shield on the side of the soldiers is being ripped to pieces a lot faster than the one from the aliens and their blasters. Because in fact, that shield can be used again to get them up the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
And just, and as they then get out through the buildings and into the a waiting car to drive away, they also noticed the Doctor noticed something else, that they managed to escape to an underground car park somewhere, possibly in Wales.
Well, yeah. Well, they escape. As they escape, we get as they escape. The Doctor knows something else that he puts his fingers on checks the soldiers for the pulse, because that's what you do sometimes. You just check what's going on. Which we're like, okay, why is he doing that? It's a bit suspicious. And then we get to the car park a bit, and then he summons the Wrath and puts the Meep on, and then basically goes and summons the trial and starts the trial. And I love the callback of the Shadow Proclamation.
Yes, which is once another MacGuffin that he always seems to be able to use, that seems to just stop everyone in their tracks. As soon as he utters the words "the Shadow Proclamation" and a bunch of numbers, that's it. Everyone's like, okay. I guess we're talking for a bit.
Basically, the intergalactic law. That's the thing.
Yeah, I know, I get it, but like they're up against the worst of the worst. It's like in Pirates of the Caribbean, when anything goes wrong, they're like parlay, and all of a sudden the battle stops. It's just one of those things I find quite funny. In Doctor, it's like Shadow Proclamation, bunch of numbers. You mean we're literally got a finger over the. If you hadn't said that, I would have already pressed the button that killed you. So you're quite lucky. And this is why I say we don't put safety caps on top of buttons, because you'd be dead when you click the safety cap up. So Shadow Proclamation, what? But yeah, he utters those words. They have a trial, and the trial is quite interesting.
It is quite interesting
Because Wrath answer their questions in quite an interesting way, and one of them is which is, why aren't the soldiers dead?
And they go,
because we use stun guns.
Because we use stun guns. We're only meant to capture the Meep, not kill it. Why?
We've got to take it to trial.
And take it to its trial, because the Meep is basically... Oh yeah, the Meep is not this lovable, adorable thing that is on everyone's side. No. The Meep's a horrible psychotic killing machine.
So once upon a time, yes, the Meep were these lovely, cute little things, but they lived under the glow of a living sun that went mad.
Yeah,
but it went mad.
Their sun expanded, drove them all mad. That's what happened, essentially.
Yeah. So it was a living organism that was a sun that gave off heat like a sun. It was also psychic, and when it went mad, it made basically all the sentient living organisms that radiated the light from that sun into nutcases, and the Meep became a killing super frenzy. And the last of them to still be alive is the Meep.
Yep. We also get when the unit uses Wrath, they have this Wrath race to the Meep's actually this being who's intent to rule the universe. The Meep drops its facade immediately and just kills the Wrath. And
it does not care anymore.
It's like, I do love the fact that it just goes, to hell with it, and just kills both of them. It's like, oh, okay, we're not hiding anymore. No, we're not. It's like,
Oh, well, let me see it.
But yeah, we
Yeah,
get
100%.
the Wrath basically shown off. We get the Wraith. The Wrath is like, we get the Wrath killed immediately. The soldier, the Meep tries. Basically, the Meep, threatens to kill the Doctor and John Stone, but the Doctor, like, does the whole thing of basically suggesting there's a link between themselves and the Meep, prompting it to take them hostage instead. Him hostage.
Yeah,
instead, basically.
and that link is the fact that both of them share a very unique device in the universe, the fact that they have 2 hearts.
Yes. They're both two-hearted. It's the first time we've met another race that has 2 hearts. It's quite an interesting one. Because they're absolute arseholes as well, these ones.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, the other Gallifreyans aren't the best. But yeah.
Well, hey, we don't insult the Gallifreyans. Look, they're trying their they're trying their darndest to stay out of all the universe's affairs.
Except when they don't.
Yeah. We don't mention the old episode. We get basically.
Yeah.
What is it? It plans to reignite its ship and leave. Basically, its ship, but its ship is a what's it called, a
Dagger drive.
dagger drive, which basically blasts into the core of a planet, into a planet, and uses up all the energy around it to.
It cuts its way into the magnetic core of the Earth, and it uses the energy from the resulting explosion to propel itself, basically.
Yeah,
so everything London, underneath London is cratered.
Which isn't such a bad thing.
I would argue that it's terrible. London is a wonderful town, city, place.
Jax, I know there's someone holding a gun to your head. But at risk, you can sacrifice your life for the betterment of all.
I don't live in that part of London.
It's every part of London.
Oh.
We're British. We make fun of London. Most of us make fun of London a lot of the time. It's just kind of what we do.
Because you're all jealous.
I don't know. What, jealous of higher prices?
I mean, but we do get London waiting. Which is nice and tasty.
But yeah.
I mean, you're all jealous of our wages.
Oh yeah. And yeah, we have the Meep. Then it wants to track the dagger drive. We have the Doctor and Donna and all of it. Basically, Doctor trying to, which Donna basically as her and her family are escaping with the help of the unit scientist. Oh, it's Shirley. Sorry, not Susie. It's Shirley. I've been watching too much of the new series, so I've got Susan in my head and Susie. But with Shirley, who basically saves them on her rocket with her rocket launchers on her chair. Your chair has weapons. Yeah, all of them do. I'm sorry, that line was. It's like the thing I will say about these specials is when watching them, I felt like from the beginning of it, we've gone back to that. The one part of Russell Davies' series that I'm not always a fan of is how cheesy he tends to be. If you know
yeah.
He's a lot more cheesy than, like, as me and Jax always have a description of, like, I prefer Moffat's because Moffat it's a bit more of a darker timeline and serious one, if you know what I mean. Does a lot more darker stories and serious stories, whereas Russell does a lot more.
I like Russell T Davies because he can start a story and finish it.
I know Moffat finished all the stories in most of his storylines.
He started off more. To say some of those storylines were finished.
Hey, if you remember the Sleep episode, that wasn't started by him. That was started by fucking Chibnall.
I would say loads of stuff around Doctor and River Song towards the end was incredibly convoluted. The silence, I'm still not 100% sure what the silence were past the space episodes, because all of a sudden they were everywhere again as part of an army of
that if you
people
pay
try to stop the
attention
Doctor.
to, you know, they were always made by the clerics. It's that if you pay attention in the Time of the Doctor, they literally tell you why those silents from the past were there. It was the Madame Kavarian's chapter of the church breaking off down the time stream to basically try to prevent the crack from happening, not realizing that they're the thing that creates the crack. They're the paradox that created the crack in the first place. Basically, in order for them to try and stop it, they created it. Like if you
And not one of these things were payoffs as well. Did we ever get the name of the Doctor? No.
Yeah, but would you really want the name of the Doctor to be given to you? Because honestly, it would ruin the show.
Oh, I don't want it given to me, but I also don't want to be teased that I'm going to get it.
You would never tease you're going to get it. Only children can ever hear it.
Next Doctor? Did we get the next Doctor?
That was a...
No.
Do you mean the next Doctor is in the one which was in the Russell T Davies era, not the Moffat era?
That was a Moffat story.
Was it a Moffat story?
I believe that was a Moffat story. That was a Christmas special.
It was a Christmas special during Russell T Davies' era, not Moffat's era. Because it was a Tennant story.
That wasn't it? It was
a Tennant storyline.
It was at the end of the Tennant run.
Yeah, but it was still. It was not. It was still in Russell T.
Who wrote it?
I will tell you in about 5 seconds.
I'm sure that's a Moffat.
Written by Russell T Davies.
Fuck.
Pretty much all of those specials were written by Russell T Davies.
I was sure that was a Moffat because it's not that good. I
will tell you this: Russell, compared to what he was before, has improved his writing. His writing was pretty bad in his first run because he relied way too much on a certain enemy to be the big bad of every single fucking season he wrote. And you can't deny that's true. Other than season 3, they were the big bad of every fucking season. Why are we arguing?
Season 2 was Cybermen.
Actually, it was the Daleks because the Cybermen did fuck all in that episode.
That's true. It was just the Battle Tower at the end, wasn't it? It was the Battle of the...
Yeah, it was just the Battle of the Tower.
The Battle of
and the
War.
Daleks basically wiping the Cybermen out in droves because the Cybermen couldn't...
Yeah, I guess. But to be fair, that was an awesome episode.
That was. I love the reveal.
That was an awesome
I will admit,
season.
The first 2 seasons were the 2 that I didn't immediately get who the bad guy was. Like, the main bad guy in those 2 seasons. But I did... I knew Cybermen were going to be in the last episode because we got the reveal of them, and Russell's thing is kind of... a little bit...
When you had a 2-parter with Cybermen that looked that good, they were reappearing.
Yeah, you knew they were coming back. But I loved...
Yeah.
I did not get the reveal at the end till it actually happened. That bit was the bit that shocked me at the end of that. The arc opening and it's the 4 Daleks getting out of it. That bit I was like, oh dear God. He did use them as the main bad guy way too much. Like, it's not a knock on the Daleks. It's the problem is they're really good, and he fell into the trap of them because of how popular they are.
He also gave them without all the lore being around Davros. He gave the Daleks more lore than anyone else did.
Oh yeah, he gave them actual
my
episodes
opinion.
which didn't involve Davros constantly until Davros finally reappeared.
And it showed that they had their own machinations, and that even outside of Davros, they had their own leadership.
Yeah.
And their own generals that had their own mind and control, and I think it was very good.
Oh yeah.
The Cult of Skaro was something that should have been just.
It should have been.
We should see more of that.
Explored more. I was so sad to just see Khan when he disappears at the end of season 3's episode with the Daleks in it. When he disappears and he reappears in season 4, at the last episode, basically.
Oh.
Just as
Hello, Rusty.
He reappears at the last episode, and basically, why he reappeared? Oh yeah, because he came to kill. He basically wanted the Daleks destroyed.
Got mad. So back to our original episode that we were on.
Yeah. But
they've been taken captive.
It is my thing though with Russell T Davies now. He has gotten better because his storylines, in my opinion, like the newer season, have been a lot better than they were in his first run. Like his first run was was a bit too just playing on the same tropes, same thing over and over again. Whereas now he seems to have diversified, in my opinion, his storytelling, which is a good thing. Like it's not. I don't say he's a bad writer. I like Moffat more probably because Moffat's storylines were more, keeping you guessing, and it's a grand mystery. It was, and both of them, we could both agree, both of them were better than, unfortunately, Jodie's main writer.
Oh yeah.
Because unfortunately, hi, my name is Chris Chibnall, and my first season has absolutely no overarching plot.
No, which is going to be, by the way, a whole thing of this run. But also, I'm going to make one of the companions more interesting and more valuable to the series of the safety of Earth than the Doctor.
Oh yeah.
Because they had to get rid of Bradley Walsh because he was too good.
And also, let's be honest, another thing that I think he really did wrong in that era was the whole what's it called? I will say this as someone who is part of the LGBT community. I did not like the sudden Yaz is suddenly gay thing.
Yeah.
I actually disliked that part. Despite normally I'm all for I love representation in anything, and you know me when it comes to shows. I get pissed off at people that go, oh, why are they shoving this in when half the time they're not shoving it in? It's just there as like a throwaway line or something in the show.
That was shoved in out of nowhere.
Blatantly, even I will say that was the shoved in one. It was shoved in the whole because it was. There's no feelings. Comes out of nowhere. During that Christmas special just before the Flux started, and then it becomes the plot line of part of the Flux, and the Flux does. And also, none of his storylines really went anywhere. They just were all. I'm like, oh, we're going to shove this in your face. And I will say there were a few good episodes. I love the Rosa Parks episode because, it's the whole thing of them. It's one of those episodes that I like because it's basically going, yeah, you just became part of that, historical moment, and you're now kind of stuck here with it. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, I do. I'm never.
But
my favourite episodes are never hyper-realistic or hyper-historical ones.
And then I loved the Gatling Dalek. The Gatling Dalek was actually a nice Dalek upgrade, basically. Them coming up with Gatling and that closing time loop episode. I actually genuinely enjoyed it. Yeah. But I did actually admit the one thing he did right, in my opinion, was relegating Daleks to the Christmas specials and stuff, rather than being an enemy in the season itself. Having them be just the enemies during a special was a better way of doing it, in my opinion. I would
love to have just had a villain throughout the season.
Yeah, but I probably might agree with me on this one, but I actually liked Sacha Dhawan as the Master because I actually genuinely enjoyed his
Yes.
Story. He was genuinely quite fun to see him as the Master in that show.
So here's a weird, funny set of things. And although everything we know about Russell T Davies, I half don't believe his words here, but in the past, when the Master was such a big deal, they actually, on casting sheets and things, and even to the Radio Times, when they had to give out the cast list, they would use an acronym for the Master and an acronym for the actor so no one knew who the actor would be for the Master, or that the Master would be in it. That's something they decided they would do quite early on. And this actually even came down to the modern day, when John Sims played the Master in his lot, they actually gave him a different character name called John Saxon. Unfortunately, it turns out Mr. Saxon, which Russell T Davies says he didn't know, is an anagram for Master Number 6. So they didn't want to make the same mistake with this, and although they had the character down as O, as the character's name, they did not have, in all the things that they would normally have to hand over character lists to and actor lists to for reviews, they didn't give them, and also the adverts, the trailers we got where he was completely edited out, where he was normally standing next to them, even as the character O, not as the Master, were actually scenes taken from review copies sent to anyone that needed a review copy. So they would actually have, I believe they had the audio for his character, but his character was completely After Effects dubbed out. So yeah, they tried to keep that one as secret as possible. Spyfall, I think that episode was called Spyfall, wasn't it?
It was two-parter. I also had Lenny Henry in it, which is always a treat to see Lenny Henry in anything. I love Lenny Henry.
Yeah, so weird enough, that was Lenny Henry and Stephen Fry were actually hired to be in it, because if you're going to be thinking someone's going to be playing the big characters to look out for, it's the two big actors, Stephen Fry and Lenny Henry. And of course, that it worked as well, because everyone was looking at these characters and going, "No, these don't matter." So yeah.
Oh yeah, it was such a good way of doing it, because I when we got Sasha Down as the Master, I was like, oh, when we got to that bit in the episode, I was honestly like, oh. I went and said it, and I was like, that is a clever way of doing this, because even I just went, oh, that's why I chose it. Because you know when he says, I did say we should be looking for a spy master, and my brain went, no. Oh.
Same here.
And it was, oh, you cheeky, oh my giddy aunt. Just, shit. It's like, oh, hello, master. Like, hello, villain. Hello, one of the best villains in the show, in my opinion. Like, the Master is the Doctor's, well, basically, he is the Doctor's nemesis. That's not even a context.
He is the opposite. He is the antithesis of the Doctor in every aspect. He is the opposite. He is the Moriarty.
Yeah. The Doctor Sherlock.
Yeah. Very well done. That episode, not that episode, but a little bit later on, involving that Doctor, actually does something that I quite like, which has actually just been has been used again separately. I assume someone knows. Well, they know because they know, but it doesn't matter. So the tune that he plays when this reference. We'll make this reference again when we talk about it without spoilers. You know when he plays the recorder that he finds in the pocket?
Yeah.
The song he's playing is the Skyboat song, which is the song that you've actually seen the Doctor play on the flute, on the recorder a few times back in Pertwee's era, but not Pertwee, in the second Doctor's era. but also a few times after. But it's the song the Doctor sings in Boom when he's standing on top of the mine to calm himself down. And I quite like that because I knew the tune and I was like, is the Master doing that tune just as a taunt? Not only have I done this thing, but I've also taken this from you as well. And I was like, and then when it was being resung, I was like, it's almost tainted. But yeah, it's just a weird little connection over the years that they've used there that I quite like using that character as the Master. But back to the Meep.
We get the reveal of the Meep's weapon. The Meep's basically ships can destroy half of London. We have Donna, for some reason, immediately as the family's leaving, goes, I need to go say help. For some reason, she can't tell why, but she feels like she has to help. And
no, right, we've skipped a bit. We have skipped a bit. So the family start to escape. They manage to find a way to escape. But the Doctor has to stop the ship from destroying London.
Yeah.
So he directs the family and
tells them to run as fast as
Donna one way, and she tells them to get out. And I believe he gives her the sonic screwdriver to open all the gates. And then she runs out with her family. But when she gets to the last gate and she's standing there and the family's free, but the Doctor's still got to do what the Doctor's got to do. And she locks the gate in between between her and her family, tells them to run.
Yep. For some reason,
because
she can't tell why. She just immediately does it.
Yep, but she's got to help the Doctor. So there she goes. She goes off a running. At which point she then meets up with the Doctor running around a small room that is with loads of switches, and he's just being the Doctor. You know, he's being cocky and fun.
He's pressing buttons. He's pressing switches. That's what he does.
And Donna turns up and
he's telling her to go away. Basically, he's like, "No, you can't be here. I don't need your help. I can do it on my own." Because he's able to do it on his own for the most part. And then
all of a sudden, the shutter comes down, shutting off half the room.
Yeah, half the room gets cut off, which has Donna on the other half of the room, and we have the Doctor just going, I could save this, but I'd have to do something I don't want to do. And Donna's like, then do it. And you just hear him start saying, you know.
Well, he starts telling her about why he doesn't want to do what he's got to do.
Yeah.
Because you know, once he does this, it's going to unlock all the memories that she has. She's going to be the Dr. Donna all over again with all her powers and basically a Time Lord in a human body, and she will die in the amount of time that she had left previously. Yeah. But as she's saying you should do it and saying why, he's already starting to say some weird words. He already knew that he had to do it, so he had started saying those words before she even had the chance to, we'll just do it, which I thought was very dark of him, but also very like they know each other at that point. He knows Donna was going to say just do it.
Yeah, he knew full well she'd just tell him to do it, because he knows, and he also knows. It also is quite obvious that he knows. Don't argue with Donna Noble. If she tells you to do something, you do it.
Just do it. But also there is a line from earlier on that we missed when Donna's talking to her daughter about, talking to her mum about anyone upsetting her daughter, and she's like, "They do that, and I will ascend on them." And as everything is this going on and all her powers have been unlocked, they also find out that the family haven't got away; they've been trapped.
Yeah.
So this isn't just about saving London. Her family's not got away, so she's a pissed Donna Noble with powers.
Well, she doesn't even know her family's not got away yet. That's the problem.
Am I misremembering? I thought they found that out a bit earlier on.
No, she doesn't.
Well,
As far as she knows, they're safe. She thinks they're safe. She doesn't know they're not safe at that point. But we get the little bit when he does it, and Donna's eyes basically glow with what we know as in the business of Doctor Who fans as very clearly glow with regeneration energy.
Yeah. But yeah, she becomes everything, and the two of them get to just spin off of each other like they've done a couple of times before. Just working at each other's pace, knowing each other well enough to just do what they need to do and have fun doing it.
Oh, yeah.
But whilst they're doing this, there is a point where she just turns, like while she thinks, she just, so how long have I got left? And they both turn to look at each other quite sad. It's like 53 seconds.
53 seconds.
Well, let's make this a fun 53 seconds then.
Oh yeah. You're just like, oh, Donna. It's because all she's happy about, as far as she's concerned at that point, is Rose is safe. That's it. Her daughter's safe. Her husband's safe. Her mother's safe. That's all she cares about.
Yeah.
Well, we did forget the one scene earlier when they were discussing about the meat, where he goes, "Where's your granddad?" Because we know the late Mr. Bernard Cribbins has passed away at this point, and they're like, "Oh, he's gone. Oh, he's not here with us. He's not with us anymore." Like in the most terrifying way, the most oh god, he's dead sort of like way. Using the wrong words.
Oh,
he's gone to a retirement. He's in a retirement home.
Sadly, he wasn't. He actually wasn't dead at that moment in time. He dies in between filming episode 2 and episode 3. That's why he's actually in episode 2.
He's in episode 3.
No, he's in the beginning of at the end of episode 2, if you remember correctly, because he's the one that says, "Oh, we need your help."
Yeah, but he's also in the beginning of episode 3.
Is he really? I completely forgot. I thought everything
right
happened in
episode 3 because it's straight up on. Because it's him going, "They've gone mad. Everyone's gone mad." He's still saying the unit shows up. Because that's at the end of episode 2, beginning of episode 3. Because episode 3 continues on straight on from that ending.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry. I misremembering how that. I thought all that was all in one.
He died before they'd even finished filming any of all 3 of them. But they filmed his scenes for the last one first, basically. They filmed his scenes
a long
time ago to make sure.
Yeah, well, I know that the scene later on, where they're talking about him shooting moles in the field, and but the moles have got force fields. That was definitely filmed and written in after his death.
Yeah.
Because that was just to show that he was still there somewhere carrying on, sort of like Sarah Jane Smith originally.
I kind of
before they actually spoke with the death.
Something Russell said he wants to bring back all like spin-off shows and stuff. So
yeah.
I kind of want him to not bring back the Sarah Jane Smith adventure. Well, bring it back, but not bring it back as her. Bring it back as Luke, Rani, and Clyde. The actors that played those characters.
But weirdly enough, I completely agree with you. And I was talking to a friend about this recently. And for all intents and purposes, the actors that play Clyde and Rani are incredibly still up for the idea. From what I heard, but the guy that plays Luke isn't.
Yeah.
Because that has been proposed before. But I think that would be a great show.
Yeah, well,
especially on Disney Plus should easily take that on.
He wants to bring. I think he wants to bring back spin-off stuff because he wants to bring it all back because he wants to make like a full-on Doctor Who kind of universe, like series of shows and stuff, to give people like actual Doctor Who episodes back, like other stuff that's like aimed at more adults, stuff that's aimed at children. Because the thing I always love is people complain with Doctor Who and go, "Oh, it's aimed at kids," and I'm like, "Oh, Doctor Who's aimed at kids." I'm like, "No, Doctor Who is the one that's aimed for everyone. That's the one aimed at everyone. It's got dark stuff in it. It's got the goofy stuff a bit of goofy stuff for kids.
Yeah,
and it's got the stuff that adults and stuff for everyone. It's Torchwood was specifically aimed at adults. Sarah Jane was aimed.
Sarah Jane Adventures, K9, and there's actually 2 versions of K9. There's the original and a British one. There's an Australian one.
Sarah Jane and K9, and then there's the weird technically Australian made one. That's the weird where K9 gets a new body.
Yeah, and there is, and then there's Sarah Jane Adventures that is the more modern one. They're kids' stories. Then for adults, you've got Torchwood and you've got The Class. Now, The Class is awful.
I like it, but I also really think it was rushed.
It was rushed. I don't. It was. I don't think they even knew what they were going to do past that first few episodes, and then the season just seemed dragged, because it didn't. It didn't have the. It didn't seem to have the agency to have more stories like Torchwood did.
No, it had one central plot line that kind of was a bit.
And after you've killed everyone in your school in an alien attack, the second season you're not being in that school. So the name of The Class doesn't really
There was still
do anything.
Second season. And they didn't look like most of the students were dead. Most of them were
Wait a minute. There was a second season.
Yep. There's 2 seasons.
I have only. No way.
Yes way.
You have blown my mind. I thought there was only one season.
There's 2 seasons of Class. Do you not know there's 2 seasons of Class?
No. I don't know if I'm going to be able to watch the second season, but oh jeez.
Did you not?
That I guess I disliked it so much I managed to block any other reference to the second season off my mind. No, I didn't know. That is confounding me. I don't understand how the BBC could put money into that. Someone had blackmail papers or won a bet.
No, I think it's because the first season apparently did quite well.
Really?
You'd be surprised that a lot of the it's because at the time it came out was that time when people were really just after dark shows that were dark for no reason.
I guess maybe, but
And also,
it weren't
I think
really.
it appealed to that, to that kind of people that would watch. I will get hate for this, an unpopular opinion. Game of Thrones, that further just weird for the sex scenes and shit, and the raunchiness of it.
Yeah, that was always a bit. Yeah, I was glad they got rid of that. To be fair, but no, it's. I see what you mean. I just didn't. I found the concept a bit.
It is one season. Sorry, it is one season. It's just for some reason I remember a second season. I think it's because they made a little special, not an official one. They made a special after it. I remember correctly. That was just we're acknowledging this existed, but we're not going to make any more.
Sounds about fair and right. But yeah, no, it was bad. But yeah, no, another one should come out. They should bring back Torchwood. Torchwood still has legs. Torchwood, it doesn't need to be the same people as before.
Gwen. All you need to do is bring back Gwen, put it back in the UK, and that's all we need to really do. Alright.
Honestly, now is, I think they should keep it in America. They just need a new decent cast.
Fair enough. Well, the thing I have with when Americans take over the sort of British shows, the issue I have is I don't want another Primeval.
No. I think it should definitely be British writers and stuff. I think the show should be set American. And the actor that we had in Rogue, who was in Hamilton, I think he would be a great, even if he's not the character I want him to be, I think they could use him as a new frontman. But yeah, there's a reason why. And I say their Torchwood was very good. It was too sexual early on in what they were doing as well. I found that really weird and creepy. They didn't stop with the sexual stuff, but they did
tone it down a bit.
Calm it down quite a bit. Although a lot of people would definitely disagree with me on that one. But the gratuitous versions of it had really been cut down, I think. But yeah, no, I definitely agree. They should definitely expand the universe. We need a new kids one.
And we need one in more
And-
adults, and we need, because Doctor Who fills the role that everyone can watch it. Doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are, you can watch Doctor Who.
Yeah. The thing is I can see Clyde and Mahoney, like, for some reason actually having, for some reason they've made at a young age, maybe Sarah Jane left them the house, but they've got Mr. Smith, and they're still just going around doing stuff. But now they've got a couple of kids in tow.
Or they've left the house to Luke, and Luke's just decided, and Luke's just got, Luke's gone off to do, because he went to university, remember, at the end of the original series. Finally.
Yeah.
And Luke's gone off to go to university and everything. So he's got, he's doing his own stuff, and they're doing their own stuff. And, and he's asked them to look after the house, basically. And then if at any point while doing it, they can get the cat actor that plays Luke back, he comes back. You know what I mean? But for the time being, he's got them looking after the house. That's the easiest way of doing it while he's away. Well, he won't be at university anymore, would he? Because it's been 2 years since then. He'd be an adult now. That's the only thing.
But anyway, back to the meat.
Getting strapped by the meat. It's because the show has such a rich history.
It really does.
And that,
I mean, 60 years of it.
I will say this: it's testament to these episodes. I think that we keep going back to these other episodes because this episode calls back to so many things from
This is a legacy episode. I mean, to be fair, the last few years, for fans of big franchises, because of different things being as they are, we've had some big years. I mean, for me personally, we had the 30th anniversary of Power Rangers, which was also around at the same time as the 60th anniversary of Doctor Who. We've had before that we had Avengers Endgame. We've had Spider-Man, Far From Home. All these things were, and even the Spider-Man and the Spider-Verse films. These are all been big legacy things for geeks like us. Finally culminating in, for me and I think for you as well, X-Men '97.
Yeah. Shows that finally culminating basically in shows that we would have watched as kids coming back, or straight up just going, or straight up that big studios realizing, okay, we kind of need to go back to properties that we know that were successwell, and we need to.
Well, that's what we
bring back.
Weirdly enough, all of them.
The stuff that we did that was good.
Yeah, I mean, but all of them, other than weirdly enough, X-Men '97, these have all capped endings to what we're seeing in some form. I mean, so for instance, Power Rangers was the end of that entire era and run of Power Rangers. That was it. That was the final thing.
Oh, you mean the Power Rangers anniversary film where we got the most
once and always, yeah.
Most of the OG cast that we could get back. The ones that wanted to do it. Like, people could get mad at and the one that played Kimberly for not wanting to come back, and a lot of people, rightfully so, we're going, leave her alone. She doesn't deserve it.
I was one of those people. Look, for a couple. So for one, the people that we got back from the OG cast, I was happy and surprised for. Each one of those was screwed over. Yeah. If you can definitely, if you want to find out, you can. There's loads. David Yost, my favourite Power Ranger, the one I personally dress. I'm both the yellow and the blue as a cosplayer, but blue is my favourite. He was screwed over. He was treated worse than shit, and the fact that he comes back for fans to do anything, anything, is a testament to how much he loves the fans. So any of those guys that don't do anything, do you know what? Fine. But here's the thing. What she actually said was, I won't be participating in the filming of that show. I do not want to be putting myself into skin tight spandex again.
She just shouldn't.
Completely understand.
And she's like, it's basically she doesn't want to do it again, and it's like I'm like, okay, she doesn't want to do it again.
What she did do was write a fantastic comic book miniseries called The Return. And I'm not going to spoil it. I have bought it. I have read it. I love it. I want more. The thing I'm upset about is that she said she probably won't be doing any more. Because that was her participation in her anniversary to everything.
Yeah.
I would be remiss if I said that it would be a waste of talent. She has done a very good job on that story and left it on a massively good cliffhanger. But yeah, my point was to get back to Doctor Who and these episodes. These are the final 3 episodes of an era.
Yeah.
This is kicking off.
The end of like essentially the end of from Russell Davis's first.
It's the end of the noughties. It's the end of the noughties noughties reboot.
Yeah.
The noughties era.
Yeah.
Shall we say?
Well, we've also, let's get back to the actual plot. Is the Doctor, as you're saying, the Doctor basically starts, and we have Donna back, and they're having they're laughing at each other, and then we have the best scene of Donna just turning around and going, "I gave my millions away because of you." Just like, no.
Because I want it to be like you, and it's what you would have done.
And it just getting berated by her for it. Just yep.
Yeah.
It's like, yep, Donna's back.
And that was absolutely hilarious. But she points out a number of things that she's been doing that's because of all this.
Yeah.
And it was funny.
We then get the little glimpse what actually happened at the other outside, where Rose's eyes also did the exact same thing and lit up, and Rose is the one that gets them out after.
Ooh, no, we are missing something. We are missing a bit where Donna does actually collapse, and they are waiting for her to die, and the Doctor is telling her how, like, all the things that he's sad for and why and blah blah blah, and then all of a sudden she is still alive, and that's when the comms come up, and Rose is like, "I think I can explain that."
Yeah.
And yeah.
It's like, oh, because the meta crisis passed through from.
It's been shared between mother and daughter.
Yeah. Now
It's still there. It's still doing its thing, but it's now been split twice.
It's slowed basically.
Yeah.
And it's then we get the line you don't like. That I kind of get what the point of the line was.
I get the point of the line. This for me is now where we're going from. This was a good storyline, I think, for the character, and I can't see at any point why anyone would be a dick about how, like, that story, like, her character at all. To the point where I was like, I feel like I've got a flag waved in my, not flag, but like signal posts and lights and everything going wah 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 wah. And I was like, people are gonna hate this shit. And everything else has been fantastic up until this point.
Oh yeah.
That's my only.
Oh, but well, you said that the signal posts. That's the biggest complaint about this episode that we kept seeing online was, oh my god, that fucking line. Like, the episode was brilliant, but that line ruined everything. And it's like,
It didn't ruin everything, but I was like, it was so not needed because of how good everything. Oh, shut up! This is your turf.
Yeah, but it's a line that I understand why it's said. It's because it's a line that's said because I think the main reason I think the line is there is it's to point out that I think it's mainly said basically in jest. And it's put there as a joke, as the joke to point out that you know that men always say that women can't let things go. Basically, it's put there as a joke, but I think I will agree it could have been put better. But I don't think it's like a bad line, if you know what I mean. I think it could have been put in like placed a little bit better, if you get what I mean.
Oh no, see, right, no, see, I said, okay, we are actually on different sides of the coin here. That line in particular, I don't like because I think it's just stupid. Seeing as though we've literally just come off the back of a female doctor that's had exactly the same issues the whole time and did not once let shit go.
Oh yeah.
In fact, held in more than many of the others.
No, I think the actual thing of the line that would change it would have made it better is that a Time Lord couldn't let it go, wouldn't be able to let it
That
go.
would have been perfect.
But I think that in that line writing, I think Russell did. I did think he let himself get away a little bit with that one.
Yeah, you know what? As a human, we haven't got time to just dwell on this shit.
No, we haven't.
No, the thing for me that I
can dwell on
think I
everything.
So yeah, the line for me that I thought was just a bit silly, and only like I say, only because I thought the story of Rose that they had done up until this point had been fantastic, was the binary non-binary thing, and like I say, it just went on. I would have got it. Like you get it if they just done it, and then it went on just long enough to feel like we're pointing out the thing that everyone's going to piss off about because we are. And I was like, why? The whole point up until this point, you could have gone. You're upset about you're upset about what? Life. Don't be a dick. At this point, you go. It's the signposting. You make it like what you
Yeah, but
what.
we've got to also take account that we are doing it. We are remember Russell is, and a lot of people seem to conveniently always forget this. The dude's a gay man who lost his husband. He's
No,
put
and
shit in that
this is not something I will say. I had not forgot this.
Oh no,
I know this.
I don't mean you particularly. I mean that a lot of people seem to go, "What's that? We're going to lose all the woke shit that they've been putting in Doctor Who for the last since Chimble took over." And I'm like, you realise this guy is
Well, you know I hate the word woke. I really do.
I hate it because it does not mean what those people think it means. That's what.
What these people are classing as that. If they don't think those things have been there all along, then one, they haven't watched the last 20 years,
20 years
of Doctor Who.
60 fucking years of Doctor
Who. No, I mean, they've definitely not watched the last 20 years of Doctor Who because human nature has been prevalent in a lot of them. And then before that, yeah, they hadn't even bothered watching the previous 40 years to that. Because, yes, there's some old school language in some of those ones.
But I'm sure Doctor Who was one of those early shows that had that the female companions, remember in the original series with Hartnell, were mostly there just for make the tea and stuff.
The tea until towards the end when one of them tells him off.
Yeah, and it slowly starts more. You slowly start seeing all these female companions start doing more and more as the series goes on. As like all the shows go on, and you're just like, yeah, the show's never been progressive, except it has for its entirety of its life.
Except the entirety of its life. And then, do you know what? If you think we might be a little bit wrong in this, just check who the people were that created those original stories.
Yep.
Because you want a diverse crowd, check those people out. So yeah, no, I'm completely against any of that, and that's why I love it, and that's why I don't really think a show like this done right with the right people, like they usually do get, as much as there's some things we don't like over all of it. I mean, we all have our favourite Doctors, we all have the ones we don't like the most. I think for the most part, the ones we've got for the last 20 years don't really fall in anyone's anyone's worst. Or two may, because I definitely know Matt Smith got a bit of controversy amongst the older crowd.
For being so young, yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is, once again, I always felt he was so much like the second Doctor, it was unbelievable.
I loved Matt Smith. Matt,
Yeah.
I think as you know, my two favourite Doctors of the modern era are Peter and Matt, because I love Capaldi and I love Matt, because for me, I love Capaldi because Capaldi's whole thing is, because he reminds me of that sort of like kind of reset to, we've got this Doctor that's a bit, that's older and he's like a bit more like Hartnell, you know what I mean, where he's a bit more aloof, less emotional, and then you've got Matt who is
felt to me more. Yeah, I mean, weirdly enough, Matt Smith felt like the second Doctor a lot, and I thought Capaldi felt a hell of a lot like the third Doctor. Well, not so much the first, more the third. He was more of a dandy, more of a clown.
Everyone gets different things from each of them, and I think
he does get grumpier, and he does get more curmudgeon-y, and which is kind of funny because the actual Doctor that he finally crosses over with is the first Doctor, and they get that conversation. Lovely.
The scene with Bill is where she's like, the scene with Bill where they're having an argument, and then he just pops out the fucking door. If you keep talking like that, you'll have a smacked bottom. And it's just like, even the audience, I think at that point stunned into silence. Wait a minute, what? And I'm like, this is a line he would have said in the original show.
Yes, definitely.
Was fucking hilarious. Well, some of his lines are very much today's standards would not fly.
Like I say, there is a lot of old language, and this is something that you will have to, if you're going to watch some of the older stuff, especially stuff that hasn't been edited, you're going to have to take on the chin, adult up a bit, put on your big boy pants. Sometimes things will be said that will be upsetting, but you've got to take time into context. And yeah, they're very good. I mean, Wilfred Mott. Sorry, I've got Wild Blue Yonder on the silent in front of me, and they've just got to the point of Wilfred Mott. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, there's.
But yeah, the way he plays the Doctor, the way he it's weird. You've got all the sort of fears and worries of the first Doctor. Go, this is my time. What am I supposed to do? And it's the same fears as everyone that's come after him. Which I thought was quite deep.
Yeah, that episode was brilliant. I love the way it was, where it's basically the 12th. He's like, he finally figured out what it means to the Doctor of War, and the Doctor of War basically means I'm the Doctor that stops wars. I'm the one that stands and heals the sick and the dying from all this conflict throughout the galaxy. You know what I mean? And I'm like, this is a really good way of actually, turning that whole thing around. Because he always thinks, because it's the whole thing of, he always thinks that he's doing bad because he keeps getting called like the Doctor of War, and because, as River points out in A Good Man, Goes to War, is you carry on this path. What the word Doctor, wise man healer, we get that word from you. And if you carry on this path, what might that word become?
Yeah, well, this is something that's been going on and so this comes back to something we were saying earlier, actually, when I mentioned, I said, it's bad except for when he does it. Yeah. In the modern run of Doctor Who, he had become quite ruthless towards the bigger enemies, the ones that we knew were the worst enemies, the Daleks, the Cybermen, those guys, those type of villains. He became ruthless against, in his final episodes, he was taking out millions of them on battle cruisers with a wave of a light stick, which isn't what he was doing in the original episodes.
Originally,
so he does become, the name becomes something to be feared.
Yeah,
he is the
Valyard.
Yeah, there is one of in the episodes Demons Run, when you finally get the full part of the poem of the why it's called Demons Run. Demons run when a good man goes to war.
Yeah.
And that's that is an element of what his kind of idea is. I only do these things because I am the good man. No one else can stand up against these things. I do. But then and that's midway through that run. And then towards the end, when you get to like the unlocking of the Pandorica, it's got to the point where the villains of the universe have clubbed together to say this guy needs to be in prison because he has killed more of all of us than any of us have done of anyone else. He is the biggest villain.
Coming together to save the universe. What? And you won't come to me together? Want my help? No, we will save the universe from you. And also, by the way, that's end of Matt's first season. That part. It's the whole fact that they are basically calling him "You're the worst thing in the universe." When the Daleks, the Sontarans, the Cybermen, the Sycorax, everyone has teamed up to fight you.
But after that point, he doesn't get better. Because all the way up until and finally even towards his final run at Christmas, on the planet of Christmas, he is obliterating anyone that comes near the town.
Yeah, because remember, he doesn't want to let them die. He won't let the people die, but he also doesn't want to. He won't give his name.
So in return, he kills any of the people that anyone else that turns up, and he has, like I say, he's become a slayer.
Yeah, he's become a doctor.
And that's one of the things I think is interesting about what was one of the things we have talked about before about why the Doctor By generated the idea of therapy. In many ways, with the way that these 3 final seasons ended. Because even with Jodie Whittaker weren't as bad.
But Jodie
I will say
she did still have like the what's his name, Tim Summit in the first episode, and then in the finale, she did have instance where she herself did the dark bit of just wiping, of not giving them a second chance.
Oh yeah, no, completely. But I mean, her body count was nowhere near as high as some of the others.
The irony being is that
there needed to be a
puppy dog doctor, by the way, is the guy who has the highest body count. I think out of all 4 of them, the one that's the lovable one is the one that has the body count, because because you see it, and I will say this: the reason I love Matt is because in that episode, we're going back to earlier, Good Man Goes to War, where you start to see the Doctor's darkness coming out, like properly coming out, more than the Family of Blood. Because Family of Blood was horrifying. What 10 did to the Family of Blood, because they wouldn't give up. And I love the thing in that episode where the brother of mine basically finally realizes that why this ageless god, why he's dealt with monsters and gods and demigods and demons. Why he chose to run from us. He was being kind. It's that whole thing of he wasn't running for you for his sake. He was running for his own sake. And I think
and
sentiment in that
yeah,
episode.
I mean so I say very, very dark stuff. And so I mean, when you come to the end of these things, they actually a physical separation between the old and the new. Because of that is, like you say, the therapy is actually quite a good thing, because without, I mean, we're going to talk about it at some point, but early spoilers. His first run in this started off not too good, but then he brings life to the universe. He's literally done, in his first season, he's sort of already started to show a difference from what the previous 20 years was.
But, when we get to that, I'm going to point something out to you. He went from
perfectly cool, yes.
He went from being the happy-go-lucky person and basically being the Matt Smith style, I love everything.
He had.
To being, oh crap, he just did something horrible again. Because he straight up.
Well, here's the thing.
Murdered him. He straight up
No,
back to
no,
murder.
So this is it. That's not. So this is an. I find this very interesting because here is and who cares? People should have seen this by now. When he starts getting angry and doing that, he and this is all very much in it. He uses the line, "I'm bringing death to death." Once and that is given life. Here's the thing: he has two options here. He can destroy death, like he said. I can destroy death. I can destroy you, but I'm not. You're gonna make me the monster, and he lets him go. Now, the reason he lets him go is because if he destroys death, there is no death. Everything lives forever. He has to let death free to let other people die. He's become the monster by releasing death back into the universe after giving it life.
If you actually watch that scene,
People will now grow old.
from that.
Sutek did not die. He just got dispersed into the universe.
Nope.
No.
That was the time vortex that he was thrown into, basically, what the Fourth Doctor tried to do to him in the first place. The Doctor did it to him, finally. And threw him to his point of death. And killed him.
Remember something else is happening at this point in time. That's what I'm saying.
No, but
it's not like that first. It's not like the first story, because in this point, like you say, so he's ripping back in, like ripping the two things, and what is happening there? He's bringing death to death, which is stopping that death wave. So he's nullifying that, and by nullifying that, now there is no death. And whilst death is in, is trapped where he is, there he can be destroyed. And that's what he said, I'm going to be the monster. And he lets him go. And at that point, I'm sure the line is, I'm bringing them death.
No, he's bringing
because
death to
now
death. He's killing.
He brings death to death originally, which brings life.
Yeah.
Bringing death to death, which is into the death wave.
Yeah.
And when he lets him go, he's now bringing death back into the universe again. So the idea is that at this point in time, while he's there, he could stop him, and everyone would live forever, and everyone, no one would ever experience death ever again. Because at the moment, death only exists within the time stream that he's got in.
Harriet are the main permanent casualties in Empire of Death. Sutek is dead.
Oh, come on, full well there is no such thing as dead in Doctor Who.
The whole point of that is Sutek is dead. He basically, if you pay attention to the scene, he's saying that Sutek is now going to have to make him become a monster again, become a monster, because he's going to have to take a life, because he doesn't want to do that anymore. That's the whole point.
My interpretation of those lines is that because he's now having to release death back into the universe again, every single death that happens through old age, through accident, through illness, is now back on him, because he refuses to physically take the life of Sutek there and then.
No, the meaning from what I gather from it is literally that he's got no choice. He's the only way to save the universe, because if he doesn't kill Sutek will just unleash the dust of death at another point in history and do it anyway. He has no choice but to get rid of it, to kill him. Because if he doesn't kill him, Sutek destroys the universe.
He needs the TARDIS again, which this time he won't be allowed to get.
He only needs the TARDIS to destroy all the universe at every point in history. He doesn't need the TARDIS to destroy the universe at wherever the hell he lands. That's literally, because if you watch the Pyramid of Mars, that's literally why the Doctor has to seal him away in the first place.
I get that.
Mm-hmm.
No, I completely get that. But that's what I'm saying. Like I say, I'm interpreting it differently. And my interpretation makes it a hell of a lot more sad on the Doctor.
Oh yeah, I get what you mean, but I think the interpretation fully is meant to be from this point. Is that the reason he's calling himself a monster is because he's got no choice but to kill Sutek, and he he doesn't want to go down the route of basically being a killer again, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but also I don't think I mean, it's like the problem with the Toy Master. They couldn't kill him. I don't think you can kill one of these things.
Don't know. He's done it before.
Um,
He did kill the ones of Ragnarok or something.
Maybe we'll see. Things have changed. Anyway, on that note, I will probably want to go and use the restroom.
Well, you want to use the restroom, and I probably should. We should probably call this to an end anyway.
I think so. We have been here a while now, I think. Oh, 2 hours. Yeah, we did good. I mean, we managed to turn a 45-minute episode into 2 hours, which is a task.
Yeah. 45-minute episode into 2 hours.
Oh, the next episode isn't my favourite in the three, but
Wild Blue
it's
Yonder.
actually very good. It does set up a lot of
we do also
other stuff.
We forget the bit that sets up Wild Blue Yonder is the Doctor going into the TARDIS with Donna, and Donna him reminiscing, and then the TARDIS just kidnaps them and makes a groaning.
Well, no, the TARDIS does not just kidnap them. They find out the TARDIS now has a new coffee making machine, and Donna asks for a cup of coffee. They make it for her, and she's like, "This is funny because this is how I lost my last job." She trips and spills the coffee over the TARDIS, and the TARDIS disappears.
TARDIS disappears. But when it disappeared, it made certain noise.
It did, but it also did land in the tree that Isaac Newton was sitting under.
Yep.
Well, not sitting under, he was next to his house, but yeah.
God, I bet you don't understand the gravity of the situation.
What? You mean the Mavity?
Yes. Sorry, what did I say? Did I say a word that doesn't exist anymore?
Yeah.
But yes, I'm going to just quickly bring up our lovely stream, and we're going to end the stream here. We have ranted about Doctor a bit. Unfortunately, Doctor is a thingy subject, I think, because we always have...
This is something we're going to rant... Yeah, we're going to rant about this a lot, so...
Because it's a show that is... You can interpret in different ways most of the plot points that happen in some episodes. Like, I got from it that he's basically... The reason he's calling himself a monster is that Sutek's making him the monster is because basically going, I've got to do the one thing I don't want to do again. I've got to kill someone. Because I think the whole point of this Doctor is that he doesn't want to, start doing what he used to do, because he needs to return to what he was and not become what he became again. Basically.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think he has the thing that he's had to do to not physically be that killer like he doesn't want to be has meant that he's had to bring death back to time, which makes him technically responsible for every single death that ever happened.
Yeah. But we'll see what the answer, because let's be honest, Russell will probably fucking give us
At some point they will probably give us an answer.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I like that that Russell said he doesn't want to give answers direct. The thing I have, one issue before we close out today, this to do with shows in general. When did people expect shows to give you absolutely every answer to everything that goes on in the show? And people
when it's around about the time they gave you the entire series in one go.
Yeah. When did people stop actually having, like going, oh, okay, I interpret it this one way and this guy interprets it that way, and then, or oh, okay, so where you're piecing plot points together, and it's up to you to interpret how certain things happen in shows, like a lot of older shows did. What the hell?
Mm-hmm.
What the hell is with people that suddenly go, oh no, that can't be like that? Because
well, to be fair, a lot of that writing now, not the writers obviously, because half of them are dead, but the actual writing like that now has gone over to video games mostly. Usually indie games, games like Five Nights at Freddy's, Hello Neighbor. I remember a couple of others more recently. Rambo was a great one, but like the information you get, then you are working towards a group narrative, I guess, or a narrative, but many people have their own interpretations of what that information is and how it connects to the next piece, and it's called very interesting. But yes, we have lost that in a lot of our
Yeah.
on the screen, either big or small. And I don't. It doesn't mean give us a ending that's completely crazy or like just unfathomable. For instance, Usual Suspects, fantastic. You don't know. You know, everyone has their theory of who's who in that one. And the same goes with Inception. Anyone that can tell you truly what's going on in that film at any given point and where you actually are, they're lying.
I would agree with that.
But yes, I think it is time for
Yeah.
us to shuffle off.
I will say goodbye, and Jax, say goodbye.